anyone who wants a story, let me see it. Yes, 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 yes. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. That really gives me the energy to dive into the story. So before I
Good
tell
afternoon,
you
ma'am.
the actual story, let me tell you where I got it.
Good afternoon,
So
ma'am.
as Swapna said, I'm going to bring you, okay, there's a little child who's trying to say something. Whoever it is, sweetheart, could you please put it in your chat and mute yourself? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So a few years ago, during one of my travels, I do love to travel a lot. I was on a visit to this beautiful country called Poland. How many of you have heard of Poland? Can you again give me a thumbs up if you have heard of the country of Poland? Poland, yes, some of you have. Some of you have. It's quite to the north of Europe, pretty cold, and a very beautiful country. Very beautiful country. Now, many years ago, the capital of Poland was a city called Krakow, which is to the south of Poland. The new capital of Poland, the modern capital of Poland is Warsaw. It is to the north of Poland. But this was the city which was the capital of Poland, old Poland, for a very long time. And it is named after one of Poland's famous legendary kings.
Ma'am,
Champa, is there a connection problem? We can't hear you. Like I said, connections can be so unpredictable.
yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, just now. Yeah, just started now. Yeah.
All right, all right. Yeah, so thanks. Just do let me know because my internet connection keeps showing that it's on, but it sometimes dips. So maybe you could just let me know when you can't hear me. So I was just saying that King Krakus, the city of Krakow was named after King Krakus. And in the city of Krakow, till today, even now, there is a hill called the Wawel Hill. And on top of that hill is the castle of King Krakus, the Wawel Castle. A beautiful medieval castle. It's a treat for the sights. And those of you, when COVID is over and are able to travel, you must make a trip to Poland and visit the Wawel Castle. And if that's not possible, do it on the internet. Everything is there nowadays. Take a look. All right. So on top of Wawel Hill is Wawel Castle. बहुत ही प्यारा कासल है जो किंग क्राकूस का कासल हुआ करता था और वॉबल हिल के नीचे साइड से बहती है एक बहुत सुंदर नदी दैट इज द विस्तुला रिवर मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल रिवर द विस्तुला रिवर right next to Wobble Hill. Now King Krakus was बहुत अच्छे महाराजा थे बहुत प्यार से अपनी जनता को रखते थे everybody was happy in his kingdom and things were going along very smoothly very nicely and then जैसे कहानियों में होता है folk tales में especially there came a problem a very serious problem. Now, right under the castle, at the foot of Wobble Hill, there was a cave. Gufa, a cave. And one day, suddenly, out of this cave came a dragon, snorting out fire. Wow! Heaven only knows where he was for all that time. Probably fast asleep in the cave. And then something woke it up. And it crept outside the cave and placed itself right on the bank of the Vistula River at the foot of Wobble Hill. And now Nobody could go up to the castle. Nobody could come down from the castle because Mr. Dragon was right there at the foothill, and anybody who approached the dragon would get killed. That was a very serious problem. King Krakus को समझ में ना आए कि मैं क्या करूं. ये तो बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत हो गई. And the army chief said, "Don't worry, King Krakus. We have a brave army. क्या कर लेगा ये ड्रैगन हमारी फौज का? हम देखते हैं इसे." And the army chief gathered the bravest soldiers of the army. Everybody who said, "Yes, yes, yes, we'll defeat the dragon. Yes, yes, yes." And with a lot of enthusiasm and vigor, the army chief led his soldiers, his brave soldiers, down the hundreds and hundreds of stairs of Wobble Castle to the foothill. And there started the biggest fight ever. The clashing of swords, the hitting of the buttons, the throwing of the spears. But you know, children,
Champa, you're stuck again.
oh,
You know,
hello,
children.
hello?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
now it's okay. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. So they were not a match for the dragon. They could do nothing to the dragon. Do you know why? Because the dragon had firepower. Arg! He just had to open wide his jaws, and this thunder and storm of fire would come rushing. People would just be burnt to cinders. और इतनी गरम, कोई पास ना जाए. After that, for months, King Krakus
Ma'am?
Gone, Champadi, gone. Champa. Champa, your connection. Yeah. Hello. Champa, your connection.
nowadays are so heavily.
Champa, your connection went absolutely for the last 1 or 2 minutes at least.
Yeah, okay. Now am I there?
Yeah, you're there, but you'll have to restart from the point where everything was being burnt to cinders.
Yes, I will. I do remember everything.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Wait. You'll get excused later. Let the dragon's fire burn everything down. So whoever went nearby got burnt, or the heat was so strong they couldn't go near. And King Krakus just tried everything. कभी पीछे से, कभी आगे से, कभी साइड से, कभी ऊपर से, कभी नीचे से. But the dragon was invincible. मतलब invincible मतलब उसे कोई
गायब.
कोई हरा ना सके उसे. कुछ भी कर लो. Weeks passed, months passed. The king was tearing his hair out. He had to go and meet his subjects in the city. He had to go down. People had to come up. It was horrific. And then, just as it happens in most fairy tales, King Krakus started announcing a reward. His musicians, his trumpeters went right up to the topmost level of the castle, and they beat the drums there, dum da dum 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 da dum dum, woo, dum da dum dum. And all the people in the villages and the cities, oh, the king is announcing something. The king is announcing something. So what is it? What is it? What is it? And the trumpeter said, everyone, hear me. They said, yes, yes, yes. And King Krakus is announcing the greatest reward for anyone who can defeat the dragon. And by now, he was known as the Wobble Dragon. And everybody said, oh, defeat the Wobble Dragon? Is that even possible? Some of them were brave. And they said, oh, yes, we can try. Some of them were greedy, लालची थे. किंग क्राकोस ने बहुत अच्छा रिवॉर्ड अनाउंस किया था. Gold coins, jewelry, gems, everything. And they said, we want all that. अरे क्या होगा? एक ड्रैगन ही तो है, मार देंगे. King Krakus said, anybody, please, try. And then, children, began the long story of how they tried. One came and said, I am going to poison the dragon. And he got a lot of poison from the herbs that were growing on the hillside. And he made a huge ball of it. And from very far, he put the ball in a catapult and dong! The ball went flying and landed right in front of the dragon. The dragon looked at it and blew on it. And what came out? Fire! Fire! And the poor ball of poisoned herbs was burnt to cinders. Oh dear. Then somebody else came and said, we will creep up upon him when he's fast asleep. I am the best creeping artist. I can do it silently. Nobody even knows I'm around. I can do it. This guy was one of those greedy ones. वो लालची था ना, उसको पैसे चाहिए थे रिवॉर्ड के. उसे लगा कि सब ऐसे ही कह रहे हैं, मैं तो मार दूंगा ड्रैगन को. आइए जनाब, आप भी कोशिश कीजिए. आए जनाब, पीछे खड़े रहे. ड्रैगन सोता था. He used to sleep sometimes during the day. और जैसे ही उसने पीछे से देखा that the dragon is falling asleep, he said, this is my moment. And he actually, surprisingly, he was a very silent person. And came stealthily, quietly, crept right up to the dragon, climbed on his back, and crawled towards the thick, scaly neck, hoping to grab the neck and squeeze the breath out of him. And he almost made it. High up on the castle, the king and the queen and all his family and his soldiers were standing with bated breath. सांस भी नहीं ली जा रही थी उनसे. क्या होगा, क्या होगा, क्या होगा? And they said, almost, पहुंच गया है. He's there, he's near the neck. Shh, everybody, quiet. But as luck would have it, just as he was about to grab the wobble dragon around the neck, Mr. Dragon woke up and he turned around. And with the nastiest expression on his face, he saw this tiny creature on his back and he felt furious. And what did he do? You know by now what happened when the dragon blew. Fire! The poor, silent, slinky, stealthy fellow was burnt to cinders. Jal bhun ke raak. And standing high atop the castle, waiting for something good to happen, King Krakus said, "Oh, no, not again." And by now, so many brave hearts had been destroyed, so many innocent people, although greedy, lalchi, but innocent. They had perished, they had died. King Krakus said, "No, no, 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 no. I cannot have my subjects being destroyed like this. अब जो होगा सो होगा. अब इस dragon के साथ ही जिंदगी निकालेंगे." Come on, trumpeters, please announce that we are not having this anymore. No more reward, no more trials, no more trying to kill the dragon. Bata do sabko. The poor trumpeters were sad and defeated and dejected, and they went up to the castle top. Whoa! They blew a sad tune on the trumpets, and everybody said, "Oh, the king is saying something." And the trumpeter said, "No more, no more, no more. No more trying to kill the wobble dragon. We will not lose any more lives." And everybody was so dejected. Is that going to be the way it ends? Is that going to be the end of this beautiful city of Krakus? Our king, great King Krakus? Is everything just going to be burnt to cinders by this awful dragon? Seemed like that. Yes. Now we come to the hero of the story, by the way. Now, we had this young man called Scuba. You know, it's a very common name in Poland, Scuba. Scuba was a cobbler, mochi. And Scuba had gone away to visit some relatives when all this wobble dragon drama was happening. Now he happened to return. अब वापस आया तो देखा, हे भगवान, ये मेरे देशवासियों को क्या हो गया है? कोई रो रहा है, कोई sad है. Everybody is so depressed, so upset. And Scuba went around the village and said, "Hello, friends, what's the matter with you guys? What's happened?" And they said, "Oh, Scuba, you have not been home for so long. We are gone. We are destroyed." "Why? What happened?" And then they all told him the story of the wobble dragon and what the dragon was doing. And they said, "And you know, the king has also lost hope." अब जब राजा ने ही उम्मीद छोड़ दी है, तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं? हमारे हाथ में तो कुछ नहीं. "Oh, no, no," Scuba said. "ये तो नहीं मान सकते. Let's go to the king. Somehow tell him, एक बार और, एक chance, एक chance." And they all said, "But क्या करेंगे? कौन जाएगा?" And Scuba said, "मैं हूं ना, I will go. I will defeat the dragon. And everybody said, ah, come on, ek mochi ho tum. We all tried, the king's great army, all the scientists and all the people, the great educationists, everybody has tried. Scuba said, fine, but give me one chance. And so the town crier from the village side started beating his drums in a frenzy. Dum, 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 dum. And inside Wobble Castle, high up in Wobble Hill, they heard the faint cry, dum, 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 dum. And the queen said, Your Majesty, Your Highness, King Krakus, do you hear the drums of the people? And King Krakus said, yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, my dear people are in trouble and I can't reach them. Why did I ever live to see this day? The queen calmed him down. Calm down, calm down. Let them cry out. Let us hear what they're saying. And they put their ears to the castle walls. They went up to the terrace and they tried to hear. And they heard the town crier from the village saying, King Krakus, one more chance. And the king said, oh dear, are they asking for one more chance to kill the dragon? And his beautiful, intelligent, lovely queen said, yes, Your Honor. I think they're asking for one more chance. No, 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 no. I cannot have any more of my dear, dear, dear subjects put themselves in risk. And I know it's not going to work. I know they're going to they're going to die. No, no. And the king's crier said, no. And again, the town crier said, one more chance. This kept happening for a long time. Finally, the king was tired of saying no, and he told his crier to say, okay. And his crier said, yes! And there was jubilation in the town, and they said, wow, we've got one more chance. They turned around to Scuba and said, but what are you going to do? And he said, I'm not discussing this with anybody, but I need your help. I need to know when the dragon sleeps and for how long does he sleep. And the people said, well, he sometimes sleeps for hours, but anybody going anywhere near him, he somehow makes out and he wakes up. Scuba said, okay, fine, as long as he sleeps for a few hours, my job is done. And then he went to the shepherd in the village and he said, my dear shepherd, can you help me? Do you think you have a sheep that is old and dying? And can you give me the body of that sheep when it dies? And the shepherd said, oh, how strange you should be asking me for such a funny favor, because just this morning, one of my very, very old sheep died, and I haven't had the time to bury it. Its body is right there. Scuba said, thank you, and went and picked up lovingly and carefully and the dead body of the old sheep, put it around his shoulders, and he trudged up to Wobble Hill, the foothill. Dum, 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 dum. And the king and his family are now up on the terrace, and they're watching, and they see this tiny little figure approaching, and the king is, oh God, I hope he doesn't go near the dragon. I hope he doesn't go near the dragon. And then they see that little tiny figure turn his steps towards the castle steps and climb the steps. Duck, 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 duck. He was going up to the castle. Dragon was fast asleep, mind you. And the king said, go open the door for him, open the door. And the great castle doors were opened, and there stood the young and handsome and brave Scuba with a dead sheep on his shoulders. And he said, greetings, Your Highness. I am Scuba the cobbler. I am going to kill the dragon. And the king smiled and said, well, I do appreciate your valor, your courage, and he didn't have any more words, and Scuba just stopped him and said, Your Highness, we don't have much time. Let us quickly settle the conditions so that I can go forward with my job. And the king said, oh, yes, of course, fine, tell me. So he said, I don't want any rewards from you, but, and you know, children, this is a fairy folk tale. These kind of things happen in folk tales, not in real life, but they are fun to hear. You know what he said? He said, Dear king, you have a beautiful daughter, the wisest and the most intelligent girl in this entire kingdom. I would want to marry her if I am successful. And the king thought for a moment and said, why not? You are brave, you are courageous, you're honest, you're hardworking, and you are handsome too. And he said, done, I give you the king's promise, my word. But you will have to give me a little time. I also need to ask my daughter. If she is not agreeable to this, I'm sorry, I will also have to retract, take back my word. Scuba said, yes, please, go and ask her. The king hurried. Of course, the entire family was behind the curtains and listening and looking at everything. And before the king could even go up to her and said, my dear daughter, she said, yes, I like him. It's fine, just go ahead, give him your promise. And the king came running back. Scuba, she's agreed. Scuba smiled, very calm, completely in control of himself. लग ही नहीं रहा था कि वो इतना बड़ा काम करने जा रहा है. कोई डर नहीं, कोई घबराहट नहीं. Very calm, very collected. And he said, ठीक है, अब आप लोग छत पे चढ़े जाओ और वेट करो. देखो मैं क्या करता हूं. They all ran up to the terrace. Scuba went down to the cellars to the army chief. And he said, मुझे बारूद चाहिए. I need some dynamite. Yeah, sure. Since you have the king's permission to do everything, I can't refuse you. And the army chief gave him a bag full of dynamite, barood. And Scuba cut open the carcass, the dead body of the sheep, stuffed the dynamite into it, stitched it up hurriedly, put it back on his shoulders, and went out of Wobble Castle and down the steps, tuck, 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 tuck. The dragon was just about coming out of his sleep. And Scuba quickly put the dead sheep down and scampered back up the steps, fighting for his life. Whoa, 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 whoa. He was safely halfway up when the dragon finally woke up fully. He stopped in mid-yawn because he suddenly saw this yummy lamb sheep right there in front of him. And he said, oh my God, I have food right here today. Oh, this is the best day of my life. And he lumbered, got बहुत बड़ा था ना, टाइम लगता था उसे उठने में, अभी तो नींद से भी जागा था. And he pulled himself up and he went up to the sheep, sniffed around and said, yeah, this is a real sheep. It's amazing. Just the thing I like. Opened his huge mouth, gobbled up the sheep full. He didn't even have the patience to chew it. Just swallow. Very happy and pleased with himself. By now, Scuba had reached the terrace And the king was just looking at him. What's happening? The dragon has just swallowed a dead sheep. There's no killing happening. Scuba is standing with them on the terrace and calmly watching. And then suddenly, whoa, as if it was Diwali. Whack, 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 boom, pat, padak, padak, rod, rod, rod. Oh God, what's happening? What's happening? There's utter confusion on the terrace in the castle. Everybody's running out, looking out at the garrets, out of the windows. Oh my God, the dragon is on fire. The dragon is on fire. Yes, my dear children, the dragon had set himself on fire. If you remember the fire inside his stomach, now when the sheep went in, the dynamite burst out, and the fire in the dragon's stomach set the dynamite bursting, plum, plum, plum. And the wobble dragon was spewing fire all over himself. Wah, 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 wah. And it could think of nothing else to do, but blinded in agony and completely consumed by the fire, it ran blindly towards Vistula River. And the river goddess was just waiting for this to happen. She said, "Come, my dear dragon, come into my arms and sleep in me forever. You have made life hell for my darling Wobble City and my darling King Krakus. You don't deserve to be on the banks. You need to be with me inside." And she opened her arms wide, and the waves of the Vistula River just closed over Wobble Dragon as he jumped into the river and tried to drink in gallons and gallons and gallons of the Vistula River water. There was enough for him to drink and drink and drink and just sink to the bottom of the Vistula River bed. And that is what the people of Poland believe. To this day, the Wobble Dragon is lying calmly at the bottom of the Vistula River, and Scuba the cobbler saved the city of Krakus. And of course, as legend has it, he married beautiful Princess Wobble, and from then on, the city of Krakus never faced any problems because Scuba turned out to be one of the best kings ever. And that brings me to the end of the story of the Wobble Dragon of Poland. Thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. I loved all of you here as my audience. Thank you so much.
It was excellent.
Oh, so nice.
Ma'am, it was very interesting story.
It was very interesting story.
Thank you, ma'am.
It is the best story from my life.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So nice.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I like it very much.
Come on, wait.
Everybody quiet now. Everybody quiet.
Ma'am, very nice story. I like this story. Very excellent.
Children, everybody be quiet now. Quiet. Everybody be quiet now.
Very interesting story. Very nice story.
Quiet, everybody. Mute
Quiet now, please.
They're so excited.
Selena ma'am, please take over. Selena ma'am, please take over.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the entire team.
Very nice story.
And this I do so on behalf of the director of the school, Mr. Vijay Mehra, and our principal, Mrs. Upasana Mehra, and along with that, the entire staff, all the staff members.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for telling us such a great story.
Thank you, ma'am, for
Selena, 1 minute. Selena, please wait.
It's very nice
Everybody
story.
on
I
mute.
like this.
Everybody on mute, please. Everybody on mute. Everybody on mute. Immediately. Selena, please start again. Sorry. Every child on mute.
And you can appreciate, ma'am.
Nobody is going to speak. You can. Yes.
All right, you can
Nobody is going to speak now.
appreciate, ma'am. In the chat box, ma'am is going to read all the chat, and of course, she will see all the appreciation there. Thank you, students.
Selena, please continue.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks, to the entire team of Bookaroo. And this I do so on behalf of the director of our school, Mr. Vijay Mehra, our principal, ma'am, Mrs. Upasana Mehra, all the members of the staff, and the students of class 6 of the Senior Studies School. Thank you, ma'am, for unfolding this magic of storybooks through this storytelling session. The children do not know. I would like to introduce Jumper Ma'am to the students. Mama, sincere thanks to you for making this session so engrossing, so engaging, so interesting, and so mesmerizing. You've actually breathed life into the characters. And I'm sure the children will realize that reading can be so much fun. I would like to tell the students and the teachers over here that Champa ma'am has taught at various schools in India, and she has her own teacher resource center, conducted several workshops on communicative language teaching, moral education for adolescents, introduced schools to non-rote teaching methodology. As a part of Bookaroo, ma'am has been a part of literature festivals in various cities and conducted workshops for children with special needs. Not many know about Bookaroo here in Amritsar, and I definitely would like to share some information about this organization. Bookaroo, let me begin with something you see that I think everybody needs to know. It's something even I was not aware of. Bookaroo is a winner of the Literary Festival Award at the London Book Fair's International Excellence Awards 2017. First time when Indian Children's Literature Festival was recognized internationally. We are indeed humbled and honored to have this team over here. It started with the children's books Eureka in 2003 with the objective of providing space exclusively for children. Today, Bookaroo Lit House holds literature festivals in India and abroad, and it has brought together the global community of writers, illustrators, poets, both established as well as emerging. Not just this, the team is involved in the research work in developing content in regional languages. And the most wonderful part of this organization is that they reach out to children who cannot reach them, be it in schools, hospitals, orphanages. Ma'am, a really noble gesture indeed. And this children, I must tell you, ma'am has done this gesture honorarily. My special thanks to Swati ma'am. This is Mrs. Swati Roy, the eminent member of this trust, who facilitated the entire show. Thank you, ma'am. It would not have been possible without you. I'm sure these children have really enjoyed it, and that, of course, is quite evident, you see, from the remarks of the kids, and I believe they must be feeling, that our lessons in classes are very boring, because surely we don't get into this kind of a gesticulation, you see. And trust me, I don't know about them, but I definitely wanted to listen to the story. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Hope this is a beginning and we can do much more for the school. Yes.
Absolutely, ma'am. I just hope this is a beginning, And of course, this time it was an online session, but we're going to have many more sessions, hopefully once the COVID is over. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye then. Thank you. Thank you, Sabina. Thank you, Mrs. Mehra. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Champa. Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Yes,
much. Thanks. My pleasure. And I would just want to, those are very nice words spoken there, ma'am. Just to tell you that Swati Roy will not speak for herself and not say much for herself, but she is a trailblazer. She is a pioneer in the field of children's literature in India. She is the co-founder of the Eureka Bookstore for Children, which started many years ago and now has reopened, much to our delight. And also the co-founder of the Bookaroo Literature Festival, which was the first ever literature festival only for children. Now there are hundreds of clones. And I'm eminently proud of this trail that Swati and her founder member Venkatesh have blazed for many followers, so that more and more children across India get to savor the pleasure of books and stories. So I personally owe a huge vote of thanks to Swati and Venkatesh.
Humble to have you here, ma'am, Swati ma'am. Really.
So, all right. I will have to step out, as I had mentioned. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I really loved every minute of it. I'm glad all the children seem to have enjoyed a lot. Do convey my heartfelt gratitude to the entire school team for making this happen. And hope to be there to tell more stories and bring more stories and books into all your lives soon. And thank you, Swati. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Champa. We'll catch up later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Bye-bye.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Champa ma'am and Swati ma'am. It was an absolutely delight to hear you. I have been putting all Insta stories, so really enjoyed the session. I think they've left. Thank you, students. You have behaved yourself well, and the meeting was conducted very well. A big thanks to the entire English department and of course Shweta ma'am for taking over, the computer teachers and all those who are behind this show. I'm sure we are going to have more webinars in the future. Thank you so much. I think now the children can leave the meeting.
Need to read the chat. They are so delighted, so delighted.
I love the chat box.
Need to read the chat.
Messages.
They are amazing.
Yes, I went offline in between because my system stopped working because there were so many chat messages and thank you messages that it got disconnected.
I think the biggest credit goes to Sabina ma'am for actually thinking of this idea. Getting Champa ma'am and Swati ma'am here. So I think the biggest credit goes to Sabina ma'am, and we must applaud her.